Hello, happy February 24th, everybody. I'm here with our newly appointed president of the local Jefferson Chamber of Commerce here in Steubenville, Ohio. We're doing a different kind of spotlight today. It's not your average spotlight that our career development team puts on. So we're just going to talk a little bit about our local chamber here with Kate Sedgmer. And she's going to let you guys know what she does, what the chamber does, what the chamber can do for you, how to get involved, et cetera, et cetera. So we're just going to jump right in. Hi, Kate. Can you tell us a little bit about the Jefferson Chamber itself, how long it's been around, some of the main services you provide, to the business community, your role, anything you'd like to add?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you. I don't know if you know, I actually adjunct in the professional office management courses at EGCC. So I love EGCC and I love all of the students out there. So if I've had you in class, I'm super excited that you can see my face finally and put a name to a face. Anyways, so the Jefferson County Chamber of Commerce has been around for a long time. We're actually celebrating our 114th anniversary this year, which is just wild, which means that our charter started in 1908. And we actually started out as the Steubenville Businessmen's Association. And then over the years have merged. There were similar associations or different types of organizations that were throughout the county, and ultimately led to the Jefferson County Chamber of Commerce. Chambers of Commerce, if you don't know, are actually all across the United States. And our history dates back before the Declaration of Independence, actually. So in 1768, I think it was when the first chamber came to be in New York State. And then it grew from Charleston, South Carolina, and just kind of it grew from there. And we are here today with over 4,000 chapters or chambers across the United States. So that said, it's important to note that no chamber of commerce reports to one another. We're not like nationally recognized or anything like that. I report to a local board of directors made up of local Jefferson County business owners and operators. But other than that, that's a little bit of the chamber background and history. Some of the things that we do here in Jefferson County, part of our mission is that we provide resources to maximize all of our businesses' opportunity for advocacy, education, and networking. And so Lee and I know that you're familiar with a lot of our networking opportunities. We have no shortage of those, that we seem like we have multiple opportunities to bring our business owners together every month. So we do coffee and connections, and we do business after hours, and we do quarterly lunches and those types of things, just so people can come together and really talk about what is on their hearts and what is important to their businesses here locally, so that we can go out and advocate for maybe it's more money coming to our area, or trying to get new or different businesses to come to our area. And so that's something that we're just now starting to venture down, really. We have some really great partnerships forming that we're excited about that are, I think, going to make a really big impact here within the county.
That's great. That's such great information. Now, I know you touched on, the chambers being nationally across the board, but you guys don't all report to each other. So what do you think you do the same or differently as, other chambers you might have had encounters with?
Sure, absolutely. So while none of us report to any one big chamber or anything like that, that many of us work very closely with each other. So Belmont County, St. Clairsville, they have a chamber across the river, and there's a chamber in Follansbee, there's a chamber. And so all of the directors come together and talk regularly, and that happens all across the state. So one of the cool things, though, is that we have kind of these small Facebook groups and different things where we can bounce ideas off of one another. And so if you ever need a connection to a chamber in, Idaho, we could make that connection for you just by reaching out and saying, we're a small chamber here in Jefferson County, Ohio. We have a need to do business in Idaho, wherever it may be. Some of the things that I think that we do really well, and maybe some other chambers don't do this, at least here in the surrounding area, we have a couple of really cool programs that we offer to our members. The first one is Shop Where I Live, ohiovalley.shopwhereilive.com. So it's an online platform where our members can join and then sell their products online or sell a gift card online, and it's completely free of charge to them. We cover the processing fees, we cover all of the setup fees, and so it just makes it very easy for any online transactions to happen within our county. So actually in 2021, we did about $25,000 worth of business for our local businesses that are on the site. And that was a lot of selling gift cards and that type of thing. But otherwise, who knows, people would have went and bought box store gift cards from, another box store, whereas these were sent locally and bought locally, which is wonderful. All of that money was put right back into the county. So that's something that I think that we do really well and sets us apart from a lot of other chambers. We also have other programs that we offer. We have a health insurance plan that is very competitive for our members if you join. It's for sole proprietors or really any size business, which is very neat. And then something that I'm hoping to build from, like I said earlier, is partnerships. I think that that's the foundation of what the chamber is. If we can partner with the Port Authority or BHJ or Metropolitan Housing or any of those, just to make our voice larger and pulling all of our resources together, that's very important to me. And I know that chambers across the U.S. do that, but it's something that we can make happen very easily since we're all so closely really located just right next door to most of those places.
Very close-knit community here.
We're fortunate in that way, absolutely.
Right. So can you give some examples of how the chamber could help students, help graduates? Are there ways for them to get involved?
Absolutely. So I think that, if I'm speaking directly to the students, even your online students, we have tons and tons of opportunities for internship projects, different things like that. If you are a graphic design major, we've got plenty of graphic design work that we could use help with. If you're a professional office management on that track, then we certainly have projects that could be helped through there. So if you can think it, or if you've been thinking, I wonder why this doesn't happen in Jefferson County, the chamber is a really great place to call and start. And then the biggest thing that I think that we can offer to your students is a connection to other businesses that are in our membership. And so, if you have a student that is looking for a very niche opportunity to do a shadow or an internship, chances are we know somebody that falls into that field, and we can connect them and say, hey, it's a local student that's hoping to be placed, or an online student from EGCC. Sometimes a personal call from a familiar face goes a long way, and we're always happy to make those calls.
Absolutely. Now, you did touch on my next question. I know we talked in the past, the chamber does have its own internship program. Can you talk about maybe like different hours that would, be needed, different tasks, pay, if any, stuff like that?
Sure, absolutely. So really, the way that I view our internship program, and it really changes based on the student that comes to us. I always say that to qualify for the internship program at the chamber, there's a couple of characteristics that you have to have and be passionate about. Number one, you have to be very customer service focused, because while you may be interning on one project, chances are you're going to be swept up into something else as soon as a chamber member calls and changes the direction of our day. So you have to be flexible as well, be willing to go with the flow and be happy to do that sort of work of just quick pace, changing all of the time, that kind of thing. And then I would also say that we are open to project ideas. And so we have, Shop Where I Live sounds like a project that you're passionate about, that's ongoing, and we always need help with setting up new businesses on the site and those types of things. But if there's something that you're really passionate about that you think would benefit our local business community, please call in, set up a meeting with me, and we would be happy to have that conversation to see if it's something that we want to go down the road of, and chances are we would be willing to.
That's
yeah, I guess that kind of veered off from what you asked, but so we typically don't have a paid internship here at the chamber, but like I said, we can typically connect you to somebody that is offering pay. That said, if there's a small project, we do a lot in the way of reimbursing for gas mileage and maybe a gift card or here and there, those types of things as well. So, and also we're always happy to sign off on community service hours or a credit needed for EGCC or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely. We stress to our students all the time, how in general the importance it is just in resume building, getting that experience. I mean, even if you're not getting paid, unfortunately, that does happen. But I mean, the experience you're gaining there is worth so much more.
Absolutely.
Especially.
And so on the flip side of that, we always think that every internship is going to lead you down the path of where you want to learn. But certainly we've had interns come through the door that say, this is not the field of work for me. We are constantly on in this role and at the chamber. So if you're having a bad day, you kind of have to hide those feelings and suck it down and carry on with a smile, because that's what we're here for, is to be a positive force in our community. And so if you want to come and just be a nonprofit work or whatever the case may be that you're working on with us, to see if it is a good fit for you, we're always open to that as well.
Yeah, even just a conversation, that students can have, and the connection that you have with local businesses is invaluable.
Absolutely. I think back to our board of directors, we have, I think, 13 board seats, and all of those people, not by being on our board, what it really says to the community is, I'm happy to help you in any way possible. I care about not just the success of their own personal business, but also the success of all of the businesses here in the county. And so anytime that they have the opportunity to sit down with a student just to have a conversation, they're willing to do that. And, it kind of makes their day to be able to do that. So
that's awesome. So my last question, it's kind of like a three-part question here. Do you have any advice for maybe our online students? I mean, we have this online population of students that are around the United States, and I think Puerto Rico, Guam, I think, we reach a lot of different areas. How could they benefit from their local chambers? How would they make those connections, get to networking? And I know you were saying that you have that Facebook group for the connections around the world. What type of questions should they be asking?
Sure. So I think that number one, chances are if you're looking for a chamber of commerce, you're going to find one within a very small radius of where you're working or have a home at. That finding one won't be an issue at all. Do a quick Google search and several will probably pop up in your area. Some things that I would ask is what kind of work they're doing within their community to make sure it aligns with your, personal beliefs and things like that. There's some chambers that are solely advocacy chambers, so they're lobbying at the state house or whatever they make that be, which is a great opportunity for a student that is interested in that line of work, but wouldn't necessarily be interesting for somebody that wants to go into event planning or marketing or something like that. And I would say also, it would be important to me as a student, if I reached out to the chamber, I would want to know how many chamber members are in their business and what the general idea or general perception of what the chamber's work is. Here in Jefferson County, we're 500 members strong. And most people, whenever they think of how do I get more involved in the community or how do I build my business, they think of the chamber first. And we answer a lot of calls every day like that. So if there's a chamber in your area that has a similar reputation, then I would say it's a really great opportunity for you to not just offer some community service in the way of an internship or volunteer hours or something like that, but also there's endless opportunity for what businesses you'll meet, what business owners you'll meet, and those types of things would all be important to me if I were a student.
Yeah, and that also kind of sparked a separate question. I have so many students that, talk to me and have that entrepreneurship type mindset of wanting to start small businesses. And I know you guys help so much with people who have those goals. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have a small business resource center right here at the chamber. So if anybody is interested in just figuring out if they want to open a business or being a business owner is the right path for them, please come and have a conversation. I don't necessarily have all the wisdom in the world to impart on you, especially if you're young or have been working in the same field for forever. But I think that that's where our connections come in, and we pull people into those conversations to help you. But if you are ready to make the jump, then we have every permit, every filing, all of that stuff. There's a laptop here and a printer that you can access if you need help with graphic design and those types of things, then we're here to lend any resource that we possibly could have. It's all here for you, and we would be more than happy to talk you through the process and hold your hand along the way. It's funny, Leanna, I'll just mention, when I was a student, I did my undergraduate work at Walsh University in Canton here in Ohio. And I attended a chamber networking event with one of my professors who had invited the class, and he was one of 2 or 3 kids that stepped up to go. And my first job out of college was actually because I attended that event and networked with a marketing director that was in Cleveland. And they called me before I graduated and asked if I would consider graduating early to come and fill a position that they had. So when I tell you that the power of going to a chamber function and networking with all of these people is, leads you to wherever, you could be running the chamber next, you never know. So
yeah. Our whole team, Roxanne and I, Brianna, Richard, we can't stress the power of networking enough. You never know when you're going to make that connection that's going to link you to your future career. Or even if it doesn't, it connects you to the right person in the right industry who can help you along the way. So I think that in general, it's just a great resource right here in town, or whatever town you live in. It's in your own backyard. And we can't stress that it's so important to just get out there, making those connections. And however, our department can help, your local president of the chamber can help. We're all willing. So Roxanne, do you have anything to add?
No, I just think it's really important to know that local employers are here to help you. They want to talk to you. They want to connect with you. They want to show you the ropes. So it's really important that we touch on that, we acknowledge that, and we share that with our students.
Most definitely. Yeah, I'll just add one more thing. I was told the entire time that I was growing up locally in the Valley that if I wanted to have a good job and support my family, I had to go to college, get a 4-year degree, and likely move out of the Ohio Valley. And that was just a choice that I wasn't willing to make. I knew that I wanted to be back in the Ohio Valley. I was born and raised here, and I truly believe that I had a wonderful family that supported me my entire life growing up. But also it was our community at large that helped raise me in a sense. You always hear the saying, it takes a village. But it truly does. I think back, every team I was ever on was sponsored by a local business person. Any trophy I ever had thanks to whatever business owner was supporting the cause. We have no shortage of generous business owners. So, even if you're not getting involved with your chamber, reach out to our businesses because they are in desperate need of a workforce right now. But even more so, they want all of you to graduate and stay right here, especially in Jefferson County where we need you. And I think that there's certainly more than enough jobs to fill anything that you may be looking into.
Absolutely. We hear all the time, people want to stay here. So it's how we work together to get that community and the jobs and the resources built back up to make this, a profitable living area, and, what's going to make them stay. And I think the work that the chamber does, connecting with all the local businesses, can only improve that situation. So.
Most definitely. And, outside of just the business world, if you've lived here your entire life, I encourage you to get involved in the community in a sense that you maybe haven't been before. Somebody said to me the other day, if Jefferson County had trails and green space, then we would be such a thriving community. And I thought, well, we have trails and we have green space and we have beautiful parks that people take advantage of. And just because you may not have gone to them growing up as a kid or, going out of state to visit these areas, that doesn't mean that there aren't things happening right here in our county. There are a ton of resources that we would be happy to connect you to so you can see all of the beautiful things that our county has to offer right here and now, not something that's coming in 20 or 30 years.
Right. Absolutely. That is, on the flip, we hear, well, what's there to do here? It's like, if you have an idea, share it with somebody. Maybe you can make it happen. Or you might know somebody who can make it happen to make it thrive. So all very valuable relevant information, I think, for any of our students in any major, any degree, who live or work in this area. So I just want to say thank you so much again for just sharing your wealth of knowledge and letting us know all about it. And I'll be sure to get this out to our students. We'll send it their way. We'll post it on social, and we'll just keep on spreading the word.
Great. Well, thanks so much for having me again. It was great to see you both